What if aging is not a loss, but a refinement? What if this phase of life is not the fading of who you were, but the quiet distillation of what truly matters? If you have felt the weight of memories that no longer serve you, the fatigue of roles that no longer fit, or the silent fear that time is taking something away, pause for a moment and ask yourself gently, what if this season is not an ending, but a sacred turning inward? In Buddhist wisdom, aging is not a decline of value, but the moment. When clarity becomes possible, like winter stripping the tree to its essence, life removes what is unnecessary so peace can finally breathe. Listen slowly and notice how much you have already survived, learned, and softened into understanding. In this video, you will be guided through a calmer way of living this stage with dignity, presence, and meaning. You will learn how to lighten the inner load by releasing resentment, protecting your peace without guilt, and meeting change without fear. If the past keeps replaying like an old library you can't leave, or the future feels heavy with uncertainty, there is another way to stand in time. Stay with me until the end, and you will discover how age can become your greatest teacher, transforming anxiety into serenity, loss into wisdom, and everyday life into something quietly complete. Before we go any further, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for powerful insights on Buddhist teachings, Feng Shui, and ancient wisdom. Your support helps us bring more life-changing content your way. Comment below. I honor my age as a source of peace and wisdom. This simple affirmation is your first step to aligning with the universe's prosperity. When you declare it, you activate the energy of success and financial freedom in your life. Most people are taught to fear aging long before it arrives. From an early age, we absorb the idea that getting older means losing relevance, beauty, strength, and importance. Society quietly equates youth with value and age with decline, as if time were an enemy, slowly taking something away. And so, many carry a silent anxiety about the future, watching the years pass with a sense of shrinking possibility. But what if this story is incomplete? What if the deepest misunderstanding about aging is not physical at all, but spiritual? In Buddhist wisdom, aging is not viewed as a failure of the body or a diminishing of the self. It is understood as a natural process of refinement. Just as fire purifies gold by removing what is unnecessary, time works on the human life by stripping away illusions, excess, and false urgency. What remains is not less, but clearer, not weaker, but more essential. Aging reveals what has always mattered beneath the noise. If you listen slowly, you may notice that many of the things you once chased no longer call you in the same way. This is not loss, it is discernment. And within this quiet shift, a different kind of freedom begins to appear, one that asks not for more effort, but for deeper understanding. When the surface story of aging begins to loosen its grip, a deeper truth has space to emerge. Aging is not the process of falling apart. It is the process of coming together. What often looks like decline from the outside is, on the inside, a quiet reorganization of priorities, values, and attention. Life gradually shifts its focus away from accumulation and toward meaning. This is not an accident, it is maturation. In earlier years, much energy is spent proving, building, chasing, and becoming. Identity is tightly bound to roles, productivity, and external validation. But with time, something softens. The constant pressure to be everything begins to fade, and in its place arises a rare clarity. Not everything deserves your energy. This clarity is not resignation. It's wisdom earned through living. Buddhist teachings remind us that suffering increases when we cling to who we were instead of honoring who we are becoming. Aging invites a different orientation to life, one rooted in presence rather than performance. It offers the possibility of fewer desires but deeper fulfillment, less noise but more truth. Seen this way, aging is not a closing door. It is a narrowing of focus toward what is essential. And when the unnecessary falls away, what remains is a more honest, grounded way of being, one that prepares the heart and mind for a lighter, freer path forward. One of the quiet gifts of aging is the opportunity to release what has been carried for far too long. Yet letting go is often misunderstood as weakness or defeat. In Buddhist wisdom, detachment is neither. It is an act of courage. It is the willingness to stop carrying what no longer nourishes the heart or supports peace. Much of the suffering we feel later in life does not come from what is happening now, but from what we are still holding on to from long ago. Imagine the mind as a small room that has slowly filled over the years. Old resentments sit in the corners like heavy furniture. Regrets gather dust on shelves. Obligations accepted out of guilt pile up, unused but untouched. Stories about who you were supposed to be or what you should have done differently take up space without asking permission. Each object feels familiar, even justified, yet together they leave little room to breathe. This is how attachment quietly exhausts us. The Buddha taught that clinging is the root of suffering, not because things are bad, but because holding them tightly keeps the heart rigid. As life matures, it gently asks different questions. Do I still need this anger? Does this old disappointment deserve my energy today? Am I maintaining a role, a relationship, or a self-image out of habit rather than truth? These questions are not meant to judge, only to illuminate. Letting go can begin very simply. It may be forgiving someone without reopening a door. It may be releasing a responsibility that was never truly yours. It may be allowing an old story about yourself to end. Each release creates space. And in that space, something unexpected appears, lightness. With less weight to carry, the inner path becomes quieter and each step forward feels more free. As the weight of old attachments begins to lift, another truth becomes clear. Peace is precious, and not everything deserves access to it. In earlier stages of life, many people tolerate relationships that drain them out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of disappointing others, fear of seeming unkind. Youth often confuses endurance with love and sacrifice with virtue. But maturity brings a different understanding. It reveals that constantly abandoning yourself is not compassion, it is exhaustion. Buddhist wisdom does not teach isolation, but discernment. It invites us to choose relationships that nourish rather than deplete. The concept of Sangha speaks to this, a community not defined by quantity, but by quality. A small circle of safe, respectful connections can support the heart far more than many bonds held together by obligation or history alone. As life progresses, time and energy are no longer endless resources. They become sacred. Protecting peace does not require anger or rejection. It can look like loving someone from a distance. It can mean wishing another well without allowing their chaos to disturb your inner balance. Setting boundaries is not a punishment, it is an act of honesty. There is a quiet dignity in saying yes only where the heart remains intact. As one simple truth reminds us, if something costs your peace, it is too expensive. This stage of life grants permission to choose differently. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to rest your nervous system. You are allowed to prioritize calm over approval. And when peace is protected, something subtle shifts within. The mind softens, the body listens more closely, and a deeper awareness begins to unfold, one that naturally draws attention inward toward the present moment. When peace is no longer constantly disturbed from the outside, the mind reveals its next habit, wandering through time. Much of human suffering does not come from what is happening, but from where the mind goes. It revisits the past like an endless library, pulling old books from the shelves. Memories of mistakes, missed chances, words spoken or left unsaid. Then it leaps forward into the future, writing unfinished novels filled with worry, anticipation, or fear. The body remains here, but the mind rarely stays long enough to rest. Buddhist wisdom points gently to this truth. Life is only ever experienced now. The past exists as memory. The future exists as imagination. Yet the mind treats both as if they are more real than the present moment. With age, this pattern often intensifies because memory grows richer and uncertainty more visible. But this is also why later life offers a powerful opportunity. Awareness becomes sharper and the present can be reclaimed. Presence does not require effort or force. It begins with noticing the feeling of the ground while walking, the warmth of a cup of tea in your hands, the way light moves across a familiar room, the rhythm of breath entering and leaving the body. These moments may appear ordinary, but when they are truly witnessed, they quietly become complete. Nothing needs to be added. The Buddha taught that peace arises when attention returns to what is already here. Each time the mind drifts, it can be invited back, not with criticism, but with patience. This returning is a practice, and like all practices, it deepens with time. And in this simple act of being present, the weight of yesterday and the anxiety of tomorrow begin to loosen their hold, allowing life to unfold exactly where it always has, right now. As presence deepens, another truth quietly comes into view. Everything is changing, including us. Aging makes impermanence impossible to ignore. Bodies soften or slow. Roles once central begin to fade. People move away, relationships end, and some are lost forever. For many, this brings grief not only for what is gone, but for versions of themselves that no longer exist. The mind may resist these changes, asking why things cannot stay the same a little longer. Buddhist wisdom offers a different way of seeing. It teaches that suffering does not arise because things change, but because we demand that they do not. Impermanence is not a flaw in life. It is its nature. And aging, rather than being an exception, is one of its clearest expressions. When identity is tightly bound to appearance, ability, or usefulness, change feels like erasure. But when identity is understood as awareness itself, the quiet presence noticing change, something steadier emerges. The metaphor of the seasons can be helpful here. Youth is often a restless spring and summer, full of growth and activity. Aging is not the death of the cycle, but its winter, a sacred season of refinement. In winter, life does not disappear. It concentrates. It rests. It distills strength below the surface. This season carries its own beauty, one that does not shout but endures. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means softening resistance. A simple shift in language can help. Instead of saying, "This is happening to me," gently notice, "This is changing." From that place, gratitude becomes possible. Not for everything, but for what still remains. And in recognizing that all things pass, the heart learns a tender truth. Life is precious precisely because it does not stay. As resistance to change softens, space opens for a quieter form of meaning to appear. Much of modern life teaches that worth is measured by productivity, speed, and visible achievement. For years, meaning is often postponed, tied to goals not yet reached or roles not yet fulfilled. Aging gently dismantles this illusion. It reveals that life is not meant to be proven, but experienced, and meaning is not something to chase, but something to notice. Buddhist wisdom points towards simplicity as a doorway to joy. Not the simplicity of deprivation, but the simplicity of attention. With fewer demands pulling the mind outward, the capacity to perceive small, nourishing moments grows. The sound of morning birds, a familiar routine performed without hurry, a shared silence. These moments were always present, but earlier in life they were often passed by unnoticed, sacrificed to urgency. Gratitude arises naturally when attention slows. It is not forced positivity, nor denial of pain. It is the recognition that even within limitation, something gentle is still available. A helpful practice is to end the day by recalling 3 small moments that felt sincere or alive. Not achievements, just moments of presence. This simple reflection trains the mind to recognize fullness rather than lack. Over time, a different question replaces the old measure of success. Not, how much did I do today, but how deeply did I live today? And in asking this, maturity reveals one of its quiet gifts, an increased sensitivity to the sacred woven into ordinary life. As life moves into deeper simplicity, a natural question begins to surface, sometimes quietly, sometimes with urgency. What will remain of me when I am gone? The ego often answers with achievements, possessions, or recognition. But Buddhist wisdom offers a gentler and more enduring response. What truly remains is not what you accumulated, but how you treated life, how you met others, and how you met yourself. Compassion, in this sense, is not sentimentality. It is the recognition of shared humanity. Aging has a way of softening the sharp edges of judgment because experience teaches how universal pain truly is. Everyone carries wounds. Everyone struggles with fear, loss, and longing. Yet many people become kinder to others while growing increasingly harsh with themselves. Old mistakes are replayed. Regrets are revisited without mercy. This inner severity quietly erodes peace. Buddhist practice invites a different relationship inward. A simple phrase can dissolve separation. Just like me, this person has suffered. Just like me, they want peace. And just like me, I am human, imperfect, and worthy of kindness. When this understanding is turned inward, self-compassion begins to take root, and the heart softens in all directions. Compassion is expressed in small, ordinary ways. Listening without interrupting, speaking gently, offering patience where frustration once lived, letting forgiveness replace resentment. These gestures may seem insignificant, but they shape the emotional atmosphere you leave behind. In this way, aging is not a retreat from life. It is a deepening presence within it. And the legacy that quietly forms is not one of endings, but of warmth, understanding, and peace. When all these lessons are allowed to settle, a different picture of aging begins to take shape. Not as a decline, but as a distillation. Over time, life removes what is loud, urgent, and unnecessary, leaving behind what is quiet, true, and essential. The need to prove fades. The need to rush softens. What remains is a clearer relationship with life itself, one rooted in presence, discernment, and compassion. Aging, seen through this lens, is not something to endure. It is something to inhabit. It is the stage where awareness stands closest to the surface, where peace becomes more valuable than approval, and where meaning is no longer borrowed from outside expectations. Nothing important has been taken from you. Much has been clarified. What matters now is not how much time remains, but how gently and honestly it is lived. If there is one truth to carry forward, it is this: age does not reduce you, it refines you. Each year has shaped a deeper capacity to understand, to forgive, and to be present. And in that presence, life continues to unfold, not loudly, but fully. Now, I encourage you to do something powerful. Write in the comments below, "I honor my age as a source of peace and wisdom." This is more than just engagement. It is a way of setting your intention into movement. Declaring your focus in a public space sends a strong, energetic message that you are ready to align with your desire. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more content on Buddhist teachings, feng shui, and ancient wisdom. And don't forget to share this with someone who could use a little more prosperity in their life. Let's spread the energy of abundance together. See you in the next video.